Hello all, my name is Jeff and I'm doing this interview as a mock session again. This is not a real session, this is a mock interview. And I have with me here Miss Angelique as a volunteer. And yes, welcome to my mock interview. Hello, Angelica or Angelique?
Angelique is
Angelique is fine, okay. So yes, what brings you here today?
I'm having a lot of anxiety towards raising my child. She's 5.
She's 5 years old, okay.
It's just I want to raise her in a healthy way, and it's causing me a lot of anxiety.
Yeah, yes. Raising a kid can be challenging. And you are?
I'm 22.
22, okay. Mm-hmm. And currently, I saw your file and you're in MBA program.
Yes.
So that's smart of you. Mm-hmm. Like what I said, you're here because of your anxiety issue.
Yes.
Okay. So, is it about your? What is it about? What are you anxious about?
Well, I was raised in a very strict household.
Okay.
And I felt like I didn't have room to grow, to be independent of myself. You like to understand me better because of my parents, which they're still alive, but. Okay. I just don't want to do that for my child.
Okay. So I can sense let us talk more about that. Okay. So let us talk about your past, a little bit about it, because mm-hmm. I can sense that there is unresolved issues. Mm-hmm. And name me one of the main issues that you had in the past that is bothering you now.
The strict role that my parents played.
Okay.
During my teenage years.
Okay, so are they strict, authoritative? How would you say?
Well, it's a military household.
Okay.
So it's a lot of rules.
The structure.
Yes, that I have to follow.
Okay, so are they both strict?
Yes, they both are strict.
Okay, so when I ask strict, how would you define a strict? Strict parenting.
I started doing chores at a very young age, pretty much the same age as my daughter now.
Right.
I was never allowed to, be with friends, to be a child, pretty much. Mm-hmm. And it just went on until my junior year, my middle school years, my high school years. I never had that freedom I feel like I never had that freedom to be a kid, to be a teenager, because I was never allowed out. I was never allowed to have friends over. I was never allowed to go out with friends. It was always just chores and homework and chores. And the times that I am allowed to be out it has to be for school, like choir or yearbook or anything after school activity, and then come straight home, do chores, do homework, dinner, chores again, and go to bed.
Okay, so you said that it is very structured.
Yes.
Which you're telling me that there is a little, or at least no room for you to be a child.
No.
So you were telling me that, you have to follow rules on schedule. Mm-hmm. You have to be on top of
everything.
Mm-hmm. So, and you said you guys are not religious, but
no, we're not.
But
religious.
It's more structured.
Yes, more
structured military mm-hmm. type. You've shared your background. Now let's move back a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about your parents. Do you know anything about their background? Let's start with your dad.
I know that my dad, he's kind of like the black sheep of the family.
Okay.
He went into the military at a very young age. And he was just a teenager at that time. And he's been in the military since. And my mother, it's pretty much, she was never in the military, but everybody depended on her.
So she's like the breadwinner.
Yeah, she worked at a very young age, and she continued and, supported everybody, money, with problems. It's always coming to her.
And you know this because they
constantly remind me.
I can confess that.
So, yeah.
It's like part of the structure, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you're telling me that they had it rough.
Yes, they did.
So do you think that played a part as to how they were their parenting style was?
I think it did.
Okay.
And that's where my anxiety grows, is that since they raised me in that particular way as well, I'm going to pass it on to my child, to my daughter, and I really don't want that to happen.
That's right.
Because at a time, I mean, talking about my past, you know, I got pregnant very young. I was only 17.
Okay.
So I don't want her to go in that direction because of what.
So you said they were very strict. And you got your child, you got your blessings at the age of 17. Beautiful child at bed. Yes. And you're kind of diverted. You kind of what happened, you know, with that structure thing? Did that happen because out of rebellion, or if you feel comfortable sharing? I
believe it's rebellion.
Okay.
Because all I've known is just chores and staying at home. And I wanted a little bit of that freedom, and that little bit when it became, a baby. Right. And, I wasn't allowed to date back then. So, and my family, my mom and my dad didn't really talk to me about that because it's not their thing. So, of course, I had no knowledge about that either. And then I got pregnant when I was 17. I mean, I finished high school and I continued with my schooling, of course, but I think I got rebellious at that age. So
what really brought you here is a fear of your kid, your daughter or son? Your daughter,
my daughter,
right? Yes. Repeating the same mistake you've made. But although you're not hesitant, I can sense that you're a little bit appreciative of the structure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because how old are you now? You said
I'm 22.
And you are
an MBA.
MBA.
Yes.
So, what say you when it comes to their parenting style? Are you thankful for the structure, or?
As I look back, I see that what they have done for me when I was young, the structure and the respect, and this is for you. I brought that with me for my bachelor's degree and onto my master's degree, and here I am now. So the structure really helped me. It's just at an older time in my life. Yeah.
Since you mentioned at an older time, okay, which helped you with setting up goals, meeting your specific goals at a specific time, which is your timeline is pretty. Oh, I admire it. Now let's move back a little bit. Right around middle school, high school. Okay. So you never actually talked about that. Is that the stage where you had it worst? Would you like to share?
The middle school and high school is.
Or how was it?
Well, I was very jealous.
You're jealous, okay?
Of my classmates and my friends.
Okay.
My friends would ask me to go out with them during the weekend, and I'm gonna have to say no and make up an excuse that I can't because I have this going on. I never wanted to tell them my parents won't let me, but I was made an excuse because I already knew that I wasn't able to do that. And with that occurring, one day, when I was 17, I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I can't breathe.
Right.
And so I went out and did that.
So being a parent now, what would you have done differently if you were
what would I have done differently?
Yeah, what say the outcome? Yeah, I mean, you had your child at the age of 17, which is a blessing. Yeah, it's a blessing,
of course.
But you kind of had that mind that it's too young.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know you don't. What do you think would have been the better, approach for them when it comes to disciplining you right at that age?
I think what my parents would have done differently is be more open to what
communication.
Communication, what I'm going through, and my feelings, and I wish that they would have understood what I was going through better. The lack of friendship that I had during those times because of what they were making me go through. Oh, I don't know, just the freedom that I needed to be a teenager or to be, you know, in middle school.
That's understandable.
You know, yes. I wish that they would have understood that I needed to grow into my own way instead of what they wanted me to grow as.
Yes. Luckily, you've come a long way.
Yes.
Yes, you've come a long way. And looking at it now, if you rate your parent from 1 to worst to 10 as, you know, one of the best, how would you rate them?
I would say a 7.
A 7. That's pretty high.
A 7.
Okay, that's pretty high. Why that high?
Well, I would have to give them the. I appreciate the. Even though it was hard for me as a teenager, you know, the structure really helped me during my struggle with, you know, having a baby young and still going to school and still getting my master's. You know, that structure that they have instilled in me when I was a teenager have really helped me throughout the years you know, raising my child now and still trying to go through everything that I'm going through as a 20-year-old.
That's right.
So yeah, I respect them for that.
So do you think your parents somewhat gave you a positive outlook on life?
Yes. I mean, when I was a teenager, it wasn't very positive because, you know, my teenage state of mind. But now as I'm an adult and, you know, my mom always told me that you'll never understand until you're a mom yourself. And now I do understand because I am a mom. So, yeah, it really put into perspective what they were, you know, instilling in me.
And 22 years old, you're already a program director. I was looking at your intake. And that says a lot with, you know, where you're at now. And how would you rate yourself satisfaction-wise? Do you feel successful or are you?
I do feel successful from, you know, being at a young age and being in this position in my life. I feel very successful towards that.
Okay. So you're just a little anxious on how.
I'm just anxious on how I raise my child.
Oh, you raise. The fear of specifically.
The fear of me not. The fear of me being my parents towards her.
Okay. So, with that in mind, how would you rate yourself from 1 to 5, being a parent?
I would say a 3.
A 3, okay.
Yeah.
So why 3?
It's because I can see that what my parents have done to me at my age, with my daughter's age now at 5. I can see myself doing it towards her without even realizing until in the end I'm like, oh my Lord, this is what my parents did to me. I don't want her to go through that trauma that I went through. Right. So yeah, I think there's room for improvement.
That's why.
And I'm trying. That's why I'm here.
That's why.
So that you know, I can figure out a way, or we can figure out a way too.
Well said. Well said. Yes. So 3 kind of gives you an option of improving. You know, reflecting.
Yes.
And it gives you a little bit of leeway. Little bit of a leeway for improvement. So just like what you said, these are good, positive insights. Okay. So the only issues that we are talking about now that we are concerned about is your anxiety, how you are, you know, what are the coping skills, you know, that you can learn. And we'll get through there. Well, we are going to talk about it next week. How is your relationship with your mother, your parents now?
Oh gosh.
Is it positive, negative?
They're positive.
Okay.
I love how they are with my daughter. It's spoiled.
Ironic.
Well, I know, right?
Okay.
She has them wrapped around their little finger, and whenever my mom says to ease up on her, I'm like, Mom, you did this to me when I was at her age. But they're great with my daughter.
So it seems that you guys have a good relationship.
Yeah, we're very close.
Which is a positive sign. Which only proves that you have a good support system.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you have any diagnosis in the past that you know of?
No.
No? Okay, so this is your first time talking to a therapist.
Yes.
So yeah, like what I said, you know, there's always a room for improvement, and I'm glad you're here to openly open up about your issues. And by next week, we are going to be talking about coping strategies, you know, relating to your anxiety. We will define and, you know, identify what are your triggers. Okay. And you know, I'm glad that you are here, and looking forward to see you next week.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. All right. Bye-bye.
That was more than 10. Yeah.